Hey guys, I know it's been a while since I've done a review, but I'm back and ready to bring you an early review of Avengers Age of Ultron. Avengers Age of Ultron sees Earth's mightiest heroes assembled once again as Tony Stark creates a peacekeeping program known as Ultron that eventually turns on him, believing that the only way to truly save mankind is to destroy it. Now the assembled team must stop the out-of-control robot before he exterminates mankind. We also see the return of some side characters from the other films like Maria Hill, Falcon, and War Machine, as well as some new characters called Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. And no, it's not the same Quicksilver from Days of Future Past, although I would have preferred that. First and foremost, James Spader. He was born to play Ultron. He is perfect in this role. He is maniacal, he is funny, and he's just an all-around interesting character. Hands down one of the best things in the movie. Next, the relationship between Black Widow and Bruce Banner is by far my favorite thing about this movie, giving them many traits in common, delving deeper into Black Widow's past, and just giving them a romance that is incredibly believable. Hawkeye, thank God, is explored further as well, making him more than just Black Widow with a different set of genitals because, let's be honest, that's all he was in the first movie. The action scenes in the film are shot very well, of course they are. It's fucking Joss Whedon, of course they're shot well. Albeit they're a little lackluster compared to the action in Winter Soldier or Guardians of the Galaxy, but hey, what are you gonna do? And of course, really no reason to go into it at this point. The chemistry between this cast is amazing. I've already talked about how awesome these actors are in their respective roles in the past, so there's really no reason for me to repeat myself here. They're just as good here as they always were. I'm very sorry to report, though, that the good stuff pretty much stops there, because while not a bad movie, Age of Ultron is very, very disappointing. How Ultron is created in the beginning of the film is so fucking stupid, and to be honest, pretty much betrays Tony's character. I'll go into this more in the spoiler video, but for now, let's just say it was a really dumb move on Tony Stark's part. Secondly, as I said, I did love the relationship between Natasha and Bruce that this movie gave us, but the end result of it really pissed me off. I mean, it ended on a note that just left this sour taste in my mouth, and I was really angry. Baron von Strucker and Ulysses Klaue, who are two big villains in the Marvel Universe, are in this film. And they are useless. Useless! A Kardashian has more fucking relevance than them. Useless! And this is a real big shame because you got Thomas Kretschmann and Andy Serkis, two wonderful actors playing these characters, and they are so wasted here. And I don't care if fucking Ulysses Klaue is gonna be in the Black Panther movie. He had no purpose here. They aren't characters, they're fucking time filler. Of course, there is something else about Strucker in this movie that, oh god, so pissed off. But I'll mention this in the spoiler video. Then we have Elizabeth Olsen and Aaron Taylor-Johnson playing the Maximoff twins, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. They were both fine in their roles. Olsen more than Johnson, but they were still good. However, this Quicksilver pales, absolutely pales in comparison to the one that we got in Days of Future Past just last year. Okay, come on, Marvel. I've already been spoiled by that movie up a notch. Just a notch. Obviously, since Fox owns X-Men, Wanda and Pietro are not Magneto's children in this version, nor are they mutants. They were two twins who signed up for an experiment with Strucker and ended up with super speed and witch-like powers to get revenge on one of the Avengers. Now, I liked this idea. This was actually really interesting. Sadly, it's almost non-existent. I mean, their motives are mentioned a few times, but they barely act on them, and there's one scene in the beginning where Wanda really has this chance to act on her vengeance and doesn't fucking do anything. And really? I don't get it. I just didn't get it. Again, more detail on this in the spoiler video. In fact, most of it will be in the spoiler video because I can't discuss most of my problems with this movie without spoiling shit. However, I can explain my two biggest issues with this movie. First, the structure of this movie is a goddamn mess. It is hardly ever focused on one thing to the point where it just becomes convoluted, and it requires you to know every fucking detail of the other movies that came before it. You see, in the Avengers, they used the first act of the movie to bring everyone up to speed on what had happened. So anyone who came into that movie without seeing the other 5 Phase 1 films would not be lost. If I came in to Age of Ultron with absolutely no memory of the other films, I would be lost and mind-fucked beyond repair. Unlike with the first film, where I could go into it with no knowledge of the other films and know everything that's going on, because they actually took time to explain shit. Yeah, I know this shit because I'm a fan. I've seen the other movies. How is the common moviegoer gonna know this shit? That's a problem, guys. These movies need to be for everyone, not just hardcore fanboys. And I say this as a hardcore fanboy. Not to mention, some of this shit in this movie has things from the other movies not really make a lot of sense. More particularly Iron Man 3, so even as a fanboy it gets fucking confusing. Secondly, and just hear me out on this movie is incredibly underwhelming, not because it's a bad movie, but because the lead-up films, with the exception of this piece of shit, were so much better than this. Winter Soldier, Iron Man 3, Guardians of the Galaxy, and even the first Avengers blow this movie out of the fucking water. Now, it's true, the first Avengers film was a movie with little to no story. It was just trying to be a fun movie with our favorite heroes kicking ass together. That's all it wanted to be, and that's what it succeeded at. It was perfectly paced, perfectly focused, perfectly acted. It wasn't high art, but it didn't need to be. It just had to be fun. Now you have Ultron. It tries upping the ante by having more ideas, more interesting concepts, and I'll be the first to admit it, a more interesting villain. But it's nowhere near as fun, it's hardly ever focused, and the ideas it does present never reach their potential. It's like the movie knows what it wants to do, but has no idea how the fuck to do it. But back to what I was saying about all these other films being better. That's a problem, guys. These were the lead-up films. Avengers was the payoff film. It's like going to Outback Steakhouse and having the steak before the fucking mozzarella sticks. The appetizers should not be more appealing and satisfying than the fucking main course. But anyway, more on that in the spoiler video, and I'm sorry to leave you with this. In the end, I'm giving Avengers Age of Ultron a B-. I'm sorry, guys. I wanted to love this one. I really, really did. And in the end, it was just an alright action movie. And let me make this clear. I don't want anyone thinking that just because I didn't give this movie a fucking A, that I must hate it. I don't hate this movie. I hate Thor: The Dark World. I hate Iron Man 2. I hate that this bitch is getting her own movie before fucking Black Widow. What the fuck? Sorry. I don't hate this movie. I was just underwhelmed by it. There's a difference. And if you liked Winter Soldier or Guardians of the Galaxy or even the first Avengers, if you like those movies, if you go into this with the mindset that it's not going to be as good as those films, you're going to enjoy it. That being said, please join me for the spoiler video and please subscribe if you'd like to see more.